Cyrus Khan. My age is unspecified. I have been doing parkour for the last decade plus or minus 5 years, and I have no idea why I'm so interested in parkour. It's just amazing to do every day. It's constantly fun. It teaches me a lot. It came to me at a time in my life where I guess it provided me challenge, it provided me direction, inspiration, and something to do with my time rather than sit around. And I, as a kid, always admired people and things that moved around really dynamically in interesting ways. Loved the flipper guys I saw on YouTube, wanted to be like them. But deep down, it gave me a philosophy and a structure. At least I realized that later, and something to aspire to. And then when I did it well, my friends all were like, "Yay!" And I'm like, "Yes."
My name is Giles D'Souza. I'm 5'10" inches tall. My screen age is shit. I've been practicing parkour for almost 14 years now, and I've been teaching for almost that entire time as well, because back when we started, we kind of had to teach each other. For me personally, parkour is where everything originated from. So what I realized as a fat kid who was watching all those anime series, who was playing all those video games, who had the ideas of doing those things that I saw myself do in a character that was in a virtual world and not in the real world. The basic backbone for it was getting stronger, getting more agile, moving better. So I knew that I had to kind of lose that weight. I knew that I had to build up muscle. I knew I had to become stronger in order to be able to do parkour better. So a lot of what I do focuses a lot on conditioning as well, because to me personally, conditioning has always helped me reach a place, and then I kind of use that conditioning to play around with my body and environment. So for me, everything is very interlinked. So it's not like I'm only stuck with doing parkour for so many years, and parkour is a discipline. Parkour is the background, but everything else adds to making that better for me personally.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rishi Prasad. I'm about 30 years old, and I've been practicing parkour for about 12 years. So I've been practicing medicine in the accident and emergency department for approximately 3 years now. I practice parkour, and I recommend the practice of parkour mainly because in my experience I've seen so many people with so many lifestyle diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and all of these lead to crippling morbidity, which involves unable to be doing things that you really like, reducing your lifespan, whereas something like parkour, which inherently has a fun aspect to it, and that even though it looks dangerous, has a safety component built into your own well-being or own inhibitions, and this way you can be healthy, you can have fun, and because it's fun, this fit lifestyle is sustainable. Because if it's not fun, then it's work, and if it's work, then you'll find a way to not do it. If you don't do it regularly, then you're not gaining anything from it.
Damn, BT.
Know a couple shooters that hit you on the block. Ain't a janitor, but I hit you with a mop. Better watch your friends, they quick to turn the odds. And that bitch nigga will play you for a thought. Ain't no style watch, yeah, my shit go TikTok. Jumping in out the bendo like it's hopscotch. My nigga in the kitchen and he whipping in the pot. Watch me see him twirl, then he drop. Got Gotta cut the limo just to cut the top. They be like, geez, why you always hot? 2019, we shooting videos on yachts. They be on the bike, keep me doing 12 o'clocks. And I'm clipping on you niggas like a dreadlock. And my team winning and we ain't gon' stop. Bad little cheeks.
The Indian parkour community,
It's become freaking amazing. Like seriously. Like I wish I was 17 or 16 years old now.
just like any other parkour community that I see around the world. In many ways, it's just time shifted because parkour reached here later. It's at a earlier stage in its development.
Back when I started training, I remember when we had our initial team and everything like that. And when the team broke, I pretty much trained on my own in gardens, and I was like, it looked really stupid. Like I used to be the only person doing a quadrupedal movement in a garden full of people, like who were just looking at me like, "Ye kutta kaun hai yahan pe?" Like I've heard those comments like, "Oye, ye kya kar rahe?" And
Otherwise, it's just like every other parkour community around the world. Obviously, it has parts of its identity rooted to its origin and the way the culture it came out of, Indian culture, is.
At the end of the day, like it seemed like only I knew what I was doing, and it felt very weird, but it also felt good because in those years of training alone, I don't know, it taught me a bit of discipline in training. So it made me not rely on other people coming for training, not rely on any external factor, just me being there in the garden doing my thing, regardless of what anyone says.
I see that same passion for the movement. I see that same drive. I see the same obsession with the same funky things that you will find in an alleyway in London or the side of a cliff in the USA.
Right now in India, though, the scene is so pretty amazing that like for me personally, it took me almost a month or a month and a half, 2 months to learn like a basic monkey wort. And right now at class, when I see someone just get it in that one movement, or when you give them the right cues or the right tips to get it right, and they get it instantly, you're like, whoa. Imagine someone was there like this for me to kind of train me and stuff like that.
Those same ideas, that same energy, and I think it'll blossom in exactly the same way. It just needs time and nourishment and the people who care about it to feel that it's not an insurmountable task, even though we're usually heaped on with discouragement in India about pursuing things that are sideways from the general population. Things like this can happen. We're in a world now where things are evolving.
I don't know how to put it like this. I could take myself back in time and train myself, and then build a better community as well, and be smarter also, because a lot of decisions that I made, a lot of being alone also, it didn't really help the community, I feel, in the long run. But I feel parkour is in a much better place right now. Like especially the younger guys are freaking mad, and it's gotten me so inspired into training harder. So that's really good.
If they're able to see the impact that they're having on themselves, people around them and the society around them, damn, people need more parkour. The Indian society needs more parkour people.
Hi, my name is Dan Edwards. I'm a director of Parkour Generations and Adapt Qualifications. I'm from the UK. I've been training in parkour about 18 years now and teaching parkour for about 15 years around the world. So my personal motivation in parkour is, there's a number of different motivations I have. Obviously, my personal motivation is I love the practice, and it's my transformative practice, it's part of my transformative practice. So for me, it's just part of my life and my way of living, my way of thinking, my way of training, my way of becoming a better version of myself every day. So, that personal motivation is probably primary, but there's always multiple motivations behind anyone who does something. Anyone who dedicates themselves to something for so long, there's normally multiple motivations behind that. So personal motivation is one, of course, but then probably the next motivation after that is seeing the positive impact that parkour can have on so many people in the world, and sharing the benefits it's given us as practitioners, sharing that with other people, whether they be new practitioners, kids, older people, elite athletes, parkour practitioners, parkour coaches, just sharing that understanding and knowledge of the discipline, the experience, and bringing communities together through Adapt. Things like that, that's a huge, huge motivation, and all of the PKGen team and the Adapt team, they're all, massively motivated by that. So that's a really, really big motivation as well. And then, other motivations include just being able to travel the world and see the world while mixing with these communities of great people is a huge bonus for us in that we get to travel on this sort of parkour passport and see amazing places like Mumbai and not just see it through a tourist's eyes, which is, it's okay, a good way to see a country, I suppose, just to travel like that, but we get to see it through the eyes of the local people that live there. So we get to see the real cities, the real culture behind those places, and that is really, really cool. So that's a huge motivation as well to keep us going. But yeah, the first two, the personal motivation and just seeing the benefits of it reach so many people and affect so many lives in a positive way. How could you stop doing that? That's a pretty powerful motivator, really. I think the Adapt course in Mumbai, it was fantastic. It was the first course we've run in India. It's the first time Adapt has ever been delivered in India, which is always a big deal for us anyway, to bring it to a new country. So it's good anyway, just for that, But the course itself was great because it was hosted really, really well by the team here, the Mumbai Movement Academy team and Mumbai Parkour, who hosted it, who organized it. And they did a great job and brought in a great crowd of coaches from around the country and loads of the local coaches here. So it was a really good gathering, really good mix of people, different levels of experience, different levels of ability. And the venue was fantastic. This place is great to run it as well. So we couldn't really have asked for more. That's kind of all we need to run a good course, and they provided everything we need. So I think it was really good. It was a lot of fun. And they were a really good crowd to work with as well. A lot of experienced coaches amongst them. And even the ones that were less experienced, they all brought a fantastic energy and were really enthusiastic. So very happy with how the course went, and really look forward to doing more courses in India in the future.
So I personally have the privilege of doing the course twice, because I'd originally done it back in Singapore around 5 years ago when Parkour Generations when then had it, obviously. And when I heard that these guys had brought it to Mumbai as well, I just messaged Dan and I'm like, I need to be here as well, and soak in as much knowledge as I can. And I learned so much from just being around and absorbing whatever Dan was saying, whatever the coaches who were practicing were doing, and I picked up so many cueing tips and all for myself as well. So many things that I've kind of happily forgotten over the years came back into me. So what I loved from it was that, a part of parkour is about overcoming. So that Adapt kind of gave me a little bit of foundation on what overcoming actually means. Like, we all talk about parkour and overcoming obstacles and, overcoming this and overcoming that, but we take it mostly in the physical sense. But at the Adapt certification that we went to, there was so much of mental training that went into the things that we were doing, where even when we were very tired, like doing one wall towards something onto a bar, something is easy to do, but if you do it 100 times, it gets very difficult. It plays on your mind, you get mentally fatigued. So more than anything else, the Adapt course taught us to take parkour and put it in the real world situations, put it in your life situations, and just learn to adapt.
I think this was necessary. I think we had reached the point where the progress of becoming better coaches on our own had become very slow. I think we needed someone with a lot more experience to come and give us that boost, maybe the kick in the ass to actually become better. And as a whole, I think also increase the quality of coaches who may have had maybe a little less experience, but again, give them a sense of direction as to how they can move forward in this field and maybe make parkour coaching a part of their main careers rather than just a hobby or something they do on the side.
So I think the ADAPT course represents a nice landmark in the trajectory of parkour in any place, because it changes from just a thing that guys did to a thing that guys who did things taught to now a more professional endeavor where people invest in their professional development and education in a field and then use that knowledge to improve other people's lives in a very concrete way. So just having a qualification, a certification, an education like that helps really set a new tone for how everybody thinks about parkour, especially the people who did the course, but also people around. As much as I think of certifications as pieces of tissue paper, the idea around it is, I think, powerful. The ADAPT course itself, I think, is an excellently delivered masterclass in coaching science, which I think is incredibly important for teachers of any style, but especially parkour, since you're handling people's bodies, lives, and safety. And so becoming a more knowledgeable coach really helps you take care of other people better. Being a good coach, as we've learned over the weekend, also makes you a much better person, and who doesn't want better people? So I think it really contributed to the development of everybody over here, whether it's visible or invisible. Mumbai Movement Academy.
Oh, this place is actually amazing.
Is something that is actually been a dream of ours to build.
It's the brainchild of the founders of Mumbai Parkour, who are Rishi, Deepak, myself, and Krishna.
So the fact that these guys actually, Rishi, Cyrus, Deepak, Krishna, they actually got together and made this place is seriously good, because the thing is, we've never really had a proper place to come in and practice. And every time we go to a garden, every time we go to a park, every time we go to a building, every time we go anywhere, people always wonder what we are doing, and they kind of stop us and then they make a fuss.
It is a physical representation of actually having a place for parkour. This is where we come and train. This is where we spend most of our time.
It's a place that we wanted just to serve as a bit of a home, you know, a beacon, a lighthouse, something that helped attract and a fixed point that people could come to get together and gather around. Because parkour in many ways is a very distributed thing. It's emergent, it's ethereal, it emerges in a place, dies away, emerges in a place, dies away, and it's never any fixed. It's hard for people who don't know about it to access it unless they're really doggedly determined. And so we just wanted to make this a place, as parkour became more popular, we wanted to make a nice, clear home that could allow it to be more accessible to other people who wanted to learn it. It could be a home for the people who wanted to pursue it professionally, to train and teach in a more standardized fashion. It could be a place that allowed me to sleep at night if I was overtraining or my parents kicked me out of the house. And it could be all those things for everybody. There's just some things that come with having a physical space that's your own that I think was a necessary stage in the development of parkour in a place.
Over here, you can just be who you are, train safely, because they have mats and stuff like that as well. And in an environment which has good coaches helping you get better.
And this also is a landmark to show that what we've been trying to do for so long has paid off. The community has grown enough, the discipline has spread enough that it is now profitable or successful enough to actually afford its own place.
Yes. One thing I would tell the community is, please do not let ego come in between anything you're doing. Like, even if it's your team, you know, like, I know parkour in India especially, it has a lot of team mentality. But the thing is, we need to think more than just the team that you're in, or more than just, you know, you yourself. And this is something that I need to get out of myself as well. And we need to think as, you know, all the teams together being one whole group of people practicing parkour, where we all look out for each other, where we all help each other progress, where there's no like bullshit like oh, you've been practicing for 2 years, I've been practicing for 7 years, I know more than you. But you know, I think we need to always have that learning mentality. And I know I need to learn a lot of things, and I've learned so much from like, especially like since I've been training them so much, like the rookie Indian parkour group. When it comes to community building and all that stuff, I realized how much I was lacking in, you know, not being there, and how selfish that could be for maybe future generations by always kind of being a loner and stuff like that. And they in turn, by watching their movements, have inspired me to learn so much more and use my body in much better ways. So we are all one big family, and we should stay one big family and watch out for each other.
We need to meet more often. I think we need to train together more often and actually know who is in which community. I know me saying that is like not really very meaningful, since most of you won't even know who I am. But yes, that means that I should also get out and train with you guys more often.
I wager that parkour is only going to grow, and exponentially, because I'll make it happen, damn it, but also because I think it's such a life change. It's one of these things that really helps you organize your philosophy around, it helps you organize your life around. I'm totally being biased because it changed my life. I assume it changed everybody else's. But I think everyone needs parkour in some amount. Maybe some a little bit, some more, and some will take it on completely. But in a world where people are just more and more sedentary, disconnected with their body, not finding inspiration, not exploring their outside world, just in the virtual, and people are almost lost. I feel parkour and other movement-based philosophies help them find a sense of identity and community. People to connect with, a way to connect with themselves. And I see, having put in some early seeds and a lot of bloody gardening, that there are other people as well that are growing from that soil, that are equally passionate about it, and they look like they're ready to plant their own seeds and grow them as well. And when you see as an exponential growth process that's bifurcating, you know the growth rate is positive.
Hey guys, this is Kaden from Incats Parkour, and I have been practicing parkour for the past 5 years and coaching for the past 2 years. So while coaching parkour, you do pick up a few things about parkour, and it gives you a whole new point of view. So in the adapt training session, it taught me a few things that no one really thinks about. It taught me about how to connect with students and first aid and the more stuff that is not really talked about. So it not only just trains you about the dynamics of the movement and the physics behind it, but also how can you be more effective teachers, which is really great thing. And I think what we all ignore is that a practitioner, a coach and a performer are all different things. So as a coach, what is important, that is something that the whole workshop focused on. And I guess that's what important, because if we want to create a new generation of parkour and a new generation of athletes who are really going to be good at their stuff, this sort of coaching is something that's required. And for the whole thing, we would really like to thank Mumbai Movement Academy, Cyrus, Rishi, Giles, all of them for arranging this thing. Our community, the Mumbai Parkour community, has been growing gradually, and finally getting a person like Dan Edwards for us, and it's a really step up for the whole community, not just Mumbai but the whole Indian parkour community. So thank you guys.
He hasn't learned as much as we thought.